Hi, I shall now demonstrate how my application works. Now first imagine that we have a mute user called Jane. So Jane will begin using this application, and when she first enters the app, she'll see this page, which is an all chat page. She'll be able to see all her previous chats and conversations with other normal people. So for example, the first one, you can see that the past conversations have been saved. And let's say I tap on another person, you can see that past conversations has been saved as well. So let's assume that Jane now would like to have a conversation with Matt. So since Jane is mute and can't speak, Matt is a normal person and can speak, Matt usually begins the conversation. So let's assume that Matt begin the conversation. He'll tell Jane, for example, "Hi Jane, what have you been up to?" So give it a while and the response will be generated. Okay, so let's say the responses now have been generated. And we can see that later I'll show how these responses are generated based on the contacts that are extracted out from the rec database. These contacts are formed from Jane's past experiences. And based on these options, let's say I choose the first one.
I've picked up gardening as a new hobby recently.
So the response will then be read out to Matt so that it feels like a normal conversation. Now Matt can continue the conversation. "Well, what have you been growing in your garden, Jane?" So after recording, give it a second or so again, and the responses will be generated out, showing what Jane has been growing in her garden. And let's say I pick, for example, the first option.
I've started with some herbs like basil and mint, and I'm thinking of planting some vegetables too.
Okay, now let's say one more response generation. Matt says something again. "Well, besides gardening, what have you been crocheting recently?" Give it a second or so. And now responses have been generated out. So let's say these are responses that Jane would like to change. So there are a few functionalities that allows Jane to change these existing generated responses. First one, on the right, you can see that there's a thumbs up and thumbs down button. So if Jane thumbs up the response, means that she likes it, and this response will be prioritized. And if she thumbs down it, means that this response is bad and it should be regenerated. So there will be a regeneration. So for example, let's say she thumbs up the first response, and she thumbs down, for example, the last response. So you can see that it will be regenerated into a new response. And let's say if she still doesn't like the response, she can thumbs it down again. And again, it will regenerate it into another response. It could be a similar response, or it could be something new. So let's say if she doesn't like all three responses, she can click on the button at the top left, and all three responses can be regenerated. And let's say if the responses are something that she likes, but it's not exactly what she'll like to say, an easy way, instead of retyping the whole response, she can simply click on the edit button, which allows her to edit. So for example, if she would like to edit this response, she can click on it. By pressing X, it will return back to the same response without any edits. So let's press edit again. And let's say now, let me just do a quick change. Instead of saying it that it's for her niece, say it's for her cousin. So I've edited it to be for her cousin. So then you'll click on the tick, and now it'll be changed to being for her cousin, and then she can select the response.
Lately, I've been crocheting a cute little teddy bear for her cousin.
Yep. And at the very end, let's say you like to see whether all your conversation has been saved by clicking on the back button. We can click on Matt Bowie again, and you can see that all your previous conversations that you have made about crocheting, about your gardening and your different hobbies have all been saved in the response. And that is the application. I'll now show you the back end, how the contacts have been retrieved and how these responses are being generated. Thank you. Another functionality that I forgot to include was basically if none of the responses are something that the person would like to say, they also have an alternative to type out their own response. So in this case, she typed out, "I've been great," and all you have to do is click send, and that response will be registered. So let's click.
I've been great.
Yep, that's all. Thank you.